The world is addicted, and our favorite dealer has a name that sounds harmless: economic growth. It's 2026. We were promised that recovery was just around the corner. We were told that as long as the numbers on the screen went up, we were safe. But look around. Does this feel like safety to you? Or does it feel like we're trapped in a machine that's running out of oil and starting to smoke? We've reached the end game. In the next few minutes, you'll discover why the very system designed to save us is actually the one suffocating us. Why infinite growth on a finite planet isn't just a challenge, it's a mathematical impossibility that's finally hitting a wall. If you think you understand the economy, you're living in 2019. This is the dark side that the elites are desperate for you to ignore. Part 1. The cancer of the chart. Let's start with a brutal truth. What happens when something grows non-stop inside a living organism? In medicine, we call it cancer. In the 2026 economy, we call it a healthy quarter. Stay with me, because by the end of this section, I'm going to show you why your bank account feels empty even when the news says the market is at an all-time high. Our economic software was written in the 1700s. It was made for a world that seemed infinite, but the hardware, our planet, is screaming error 404. Today, we live in a throwaway
Must
economy.
have the new one!
For GDP to rise, you must consume. If you repair your tech,
Must
the
have the
system
new one!
fails. If you share resources with your neighbor, the GDP drops.
Must
The
have the
system
new one!
requires you to be a lonely, wasteful consumer. Do you feel like you're running faster just to stay in the same place? That's not a glitch, it's the feature. Part 2. The ghost in the machine. What GDP ignores. Here is the biggest scam of the century. GDP measures everything except what actually matters. In 2026, a massive forest fire that destroys thousands of homes actually boosts the economy. Why? Because of the billions spent on reconstruction, insurance payouts, and medical bills. To the system, a tragedy is a growth opportunity. We are literally burning our future to keep the lights on today. We are turning the air we breathe and the water we drink into digits on a billionaire's spreadsheet. But the damage isn't just out there in nature, it's inside your head. Part 3. The productivity trap and the 2026 burnout. Why are we the most productive generation in history, yet the most medicated and exhausted? In 2026, the line between work and life has been obliterated by AI and constant connectivity. Growth demands that you be on 24/7. Your attention is the new gold mine, and the algorithms are the miners. We've created a status anxiety monster. The system needs you to feel inadequate. It needs you to believe that if you aren't hustling, you're dying. Growth depends on your chronic dissatisfaction. If you were ever truly happy with what you have, the global economy would collapse tomorrow morning. Think about that. Part 4. The Great Divide. Yachts versus lifeboats. They told us a rising tide lifts all boats, but as we see clearly now in 2026, the tide only lifted the super yachts. The rest of us are treading water in lifeboats with holes in them. Since the early 2020s, the wealth gap hasn't just grown, it has mutated. The top 0.1% now own more than the bottom 90% combined. While growth is the mantra, the reality is a massive transfer of wealth from the hands of the many to the pockets of the few. We are building high-tech fortresses for the rich, while the infrastructure of the common man crumbles. And as history warns us, when the majority can no longer afford to live in the system, they will eventually burn it down. So is the collapse inevitable, or is there a forbidden solution that the world's most powerful people are terrified you'll discover? We're going there next. Part 5. Degrowth, the elite's nightmare. Have you heard the word degrowth? To the bankers in 2026, this is the ultimate heresy. They'll tell you it means going back to the Stone Age. They're lying. Degrowth isn't about being poor, it's about being time-rich. It's about prioritizing human well-being over corporate profit. Imagine a world where we produce less junk, but what we make lasts a lifetime. Imagine working 20 hours a week because we're not forced to fuel a machine of planned obsolescence. But there's a catch, the debt trap. Our entire financial system is built on debt that must be paid back with interest, and interest requires growth. We're on a high-speed train that explodes if it drops below 100 miles per hour. The problem is, the tracks end just a few miles ahead. Part 6, the 2026 Reckoning, Final Warning. We are at the breaking point. The dark side is no longer a shadow, it's the sun in our eyes. From the AI-driven job displacement to the resource wars starting to simmer, the cost of growth at any price is finally coming due. The question isn't whether this system will end, it's how it ends. Do we choose a soft landing through radical change, or do we wait for the hard crash of total systemic failure? Success shouldn't be measured by how much a country spends on weapons and waste. It should be measured by the health of its soil, the clarity of its water, and the peace of mind of its people. I've just released a private breakdown of the 3 specific steps you can take to decouple your life from this failing system before the next major correction. You won't want to miss it. But before we go, conclusion. The choice is yours. Economic growth was the engine of the 20th century. It brought us here. But in 2026, that engine is on fire. Demanding infinite growth on a planet with clear limits is a form of collective insanity. Are you going to keep running on the treadmill until your heart stops? Or are you ready to step off and help build something that actually lasts? The economy was supposed to serve us. Somewhere along the way, we became its slaves. The chart might be going up, but if your quality of life is going down, it's not progress. It's a funeral. Stop watching the ticker. Start watching the world. See you in the next one.